Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Reasonable Doubt, brought to you by the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. I'm your host, Jimmy Ardwan, with my co-host, Julio Vela. How are you?
Great.
Yeah?
I'm getting my steps in because we got to go
you have
to...
a Fitbit?
The new facial recognition iPhone.
Oh.
Yep. It'll actually calculate how many steps I take and how many smiles and frowns I do and how many blinks I take. Did you hear somebody found a way to crack it?
That's what I heard.
Isn't that wild?
But I heard the cracking was because it does not pass any of the drop tests. It's like immediately first drop it breaks. So, but you're talking about how to get in, right?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
What are we ever talking about?
I don't know, but we got a great show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We've got two great guests. Our first guest returning back. He was just on here a little while ago. We're going to try and keep him from butting in on the host tonight, all right? We're going to try and keep him in check. Todd Dupont back on the program.
Hi there.
Todd,
I promise
coming
to.
back. Dial it back a little bit this time.
We'll dial it back.
All right, and our second guest tonight, she is a judicial candidate here in Harris County for the 184th District Court. Abigail Anastasio, you are also a returning guest on the show.
I am. It's been about a year, but good to be back.
Yeah, well, we appreciate.
Good evening.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming back. We're hoping, ladies and gentlemen, as we get, we're coming into the end of this year, obviously, and we're going to be taking a couple shows off for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, that sort of thing. But we're hoping to really ramp up our shows with judicial candidates. We want you to hear from these candidates, kind of get to know them. It's hard, especially in a non-presidential year, to know who these people are that are running for our benches in Harris County, for the county courts and the district courts. So we hope that each and every candidate will come on this show. We have reached out to the campaigns for every candidate in Harris County, and those, some of them have responded back. Those that haven't, we're going to keep trying to get every candidate on this show. We want to give every candidate every opportunity to come on here and talk to you, tell us what they're about, explain to you and us their stories and what issues they stand for, and thankfully Abigail is the first one we could get on tonight, so we appreciate her coming on. We're going to be here the next hour. We're going to talk a little bit to Abigail about what she stands for and her platform for the 184th. We're going to talk about a few current events because there's some things happening out there that are pretty interesting. And we'll do it all for the next hour. We'll take your phone calls probably about 8:30. 713-807-1794 is the number. We also have Twitter up tonight at HCCLA_TV, so you can hit us up with your questions and comments there. But Abigail, let's start with you. Tell us why you are running for a district court in Harris County. Well,
first of all, it's kind of the first time that someone running on a progressive platform has a viable chance in a midterm election. So that's one of the reasons. I also feel that we need some more energy. We need someone who's going to come in, embrace technology.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by embrace technology?
Well, we use too much paper. I mean, it's incredible how much paper is used. I've filed entire banker boxes worth of business records in my time. I really like the fact that we're moving to e-filing. And I am excited about being able to just e-sign things or click a button.
And that's mandated January 1, so I think we'll see that whether we like it or not.
I can tell you that I have been, well, you as well, Todd, on the federal side. We've been using it for a long time.
Much preferred.
Much preferred. And I'll tell you, I've been using it in some of the other counties that were already mandated the last couple of years. The smaller counties, McLennan County, I think, has it up. Walker County has it. There's several counties that have it. And I'll tell you what, it's great. I love it. I frankly love it. So I'm looking forward to it. But what do you see as your biggest strength? What do you think you bring to the bench that maybe somebody else doesn't?
I have an even keel temperament. I have experience on both sides. I've been a prosecutor and now I've been a defense attorney. And I think that's really important to understand both sides. It's one thing you understand a victim's side or a complainant, and then a victim, depending, you get to know them. You understand their story, their side. It's a different thing to have a client and understand a different side of things. And I think that's important, and I have that experience. I've been both.
When you say you got to bring a new energy to the courthouse and to the seat, what do you mean by that? This energy you're talking about?
You know, we've had some people who've been on the bench a really long time, and I think that we need to move into the 21st century. We need to understand that I get that in Harris County they're starting to recognize that mental health is an issue, that there are issues with substance abuse and addiction, but I don't think we've gone far enough with it. And I think we need some new energy to come in, revamp programs that we have set up. We've been using certain rehabilitation programs that, quite frankly, have proven to not be effective. And we need people to go in, visit with the probation department, visit with defense attorneys, visit with the prosecutors, and figure out how we can make this better. We need more communication between all people. And I feel like I'm invigorated to do that.
Todd, what do you think in your felony practice is a program that could use some fixing?
In terms of?
Maybe a probation or a bond?
Well, we've got probations across the board. We have our programs pre-trial, right? We revamped Harris County's, the way that they look at doing TRASs and CAST, which are assessments to determine a person's risk, which judges now utilize, and that was done by Dr. May several years ago. Programs to change.
Do you like the sweep, or not the sweep? Do you like the PED-IN, the Safe P?
What I like is that, and these are people that they're just not county employees. They actually have degrees. They are screening people and giving judges recommendations based on a risk assessment tool that has been validated. I think the question becomes if the judges are married to the CAST or to the TRAS, that's different than they use that as a suggestion. I've been successful with judges using that as an idea of what to do, but not necessarily following it, completely. I think the CAST, and we've recently now seen them implementing in terms of people that are getting bonds, risk assessments. I think that's progressive, and I think that's okay, personally. But I wouldn't like a judge just to, if they say who or some type of punitive inpatient program, they follow it blindly.
You say punitive inpatient program. What do you mean by that, and what's your take on it?
If you're speaking of whether or not someone is motivated to want to attend treatment when they feel like they're actually being incarcerated as opposed to receiving treatment, is that what you're referring to?
Why would you call it a punitive treatment?
Well, because they don't go home.
That's right. They sit in jail for 6 months, and then how long are they waiting for a bed?
But the beds could be variety. Female and males have different wait periods, but it could be 30 to 45, maybe 60 days, depending on the program available. And then if it's a 6-month program or a Safe P, which is a 6 to 9 month program with aftercare, you can see people that get probation that also have a risk that's assessed by a system. That means you're going to get probation, but you won't be home for about a year from now.
But what can the judges really, what can a judge, especially a new judge, what can you really do to affect this change?
We have to start communicating with the probation department. I understand there's going to be budget restraints, but judges need to be going to these places and seeing how they operate. They need to be talking to the people who have been there and asking them how effective it's been. They need to understand that relapse happens many times before you are in a place where you can be sober for an extended period of time. And we have this, to the audience, we have deferred adjudication, which basically means you plead guilty to an offense, but you're not convicted of it provided you finish your probation. If you do not, then you're subject to the full range of punishment if you violate. And some of the judges have been great about it and understanding that people are going to relapse, but some are not. And we need to be more educated on addiction and mental health issues, and also understand that they're often intertwined.
Todd and I were in the district courts, was it today or yesterday? We forget.
I'm in there each day.
And an individual, a father of two, a cook at a Mexican restaurant, had no less than 2 or 3 breath violations, blow violations. So we knew it was a DWI or an intoxication offense of some sort. It could have been intoxication DWI number 3, or maybe had involved a child. And he went in front of the judge and he told, and lied or didn't say, but you could tell he was scared. And the judge looked at him and said, hey, I want to hear your story. When you're presented with that as a judge, what are some things you're going to take into account before you can yank this individual and put him in prison or state jail or the county? Why wouldn't you if he continues to blow? I mean, what does a judge do in that situation? Because we were taken aback by it. At least I was.
I thought the guy was going to jail.
I thought he was going down.
The judge was very aggressive up front and then found compassion on the back, perhaps to scare the human with regards to this is serious.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you can deal with that? I couldn't. I wouldn't have been able to be the judge.
Absolutely.
That's tough.
It is tough, and that's why I'm stepping up to take this job.
You want to, if somebody
so,
lies to you, you want to strike back at them somehow, right?
Well, I feel that my experience having been a high school teacher for 7 years has really prepared me for everything I've done for the rest of my life.
Some would argue that the courthouse is exactly like high school. So
I don't know if we need to argue that.
I think we do either. We got clicks and we got all sorts of things over there. For you, Abigail, what made you want to get into this race?
I mean, honestly, a lot of people encouraged me to run in 2016 as well, because I know that I have a lot of life experience that others may not have. I have lived all over the world. I've experienced a variety of cultures, and I think that we need to start recognizing the fact that the criminal justice system has changed and that the makeup of it is different than it used to be. And I feel like sometimes it's operating the same way it was maybe before I was born.
You've seen it from both sides as a prosecutor and a defense attorney. Do you have a point where you said, the change is coming and you felt a part of it? Do you know when that seed started? Was it when you left the DA's office? Was it before? Was it as a defense attorney? When was that moment for you?
That I decided
that you decided to think that you had to leave the DA's office. That was a big thing, right? I mean, you're out. When did you decide to say you wanted to run for judge? When was that?
Honestly, when I started doing defense work is when I realized that I wanted to run for judge. Honestly, after a couple years, I realized we need people on the bench that understand the human side of things and that people aren't just pieces of paper.
People play politics as a judge. And do you think you can do you think you have the skin to stand through all the politics and all the whispers and all the rumors and to stand up for what you believe in?
Well, if there's one thing I know about myself is that I'm a very strong person and I can deal with anything that comes before me.
One of the most fascinating things I find about you is that you've lived all over the world. Talk to us about that. Where have you lived and when?
Well, my family immigrated from Italy, and I was born in New Jersey. My dad was in the oil and gas industry. I moved to Texas also at a young age. Moved
As quick as you can get here.
quick as I could get here. I lived in Italy. Not
Can you speak
because
Italian?
I cannot. I did take it in college a little bit, but I focused on French.
Can you pick a good wine?
I'd like to think so.
You're not helping yourself with the Italian.
It's so good. So you lived in Italy. What else?
I spent a majority of my childhood living in Saudi Arabia, actually. And that was, people ask me, what was that like? I cannot even begin to describe it. I went to an extremely small school. There weren't activities like you would think of here. There was no mall to go to. I basically read a book every single day. That's what I did for fun. I'm still friends with all of those people I went to school with. I went to school with people from every single European nation you can think of. India, Pakistan, Philippines, Australia, any country you can think of, I went to school with people from those nations, and I was able to learn about different cultures and how people's perspective on things are different, and to respect those perspectives and have understanding.
So where's home?
Texas,
Where in Texas?
around 610 and
Harris County. You have
Harris
brothers
County.
in your family. You got brothers. You have sisters. You have what?
I do. I have 2 older brothers. They're twins. I love them dearly. I have a little sister named Maggie. She's 9 years younger than me. And my parents live in Katy, Texas. I have a brother who lives in Austin. My sister lives here in Houston. And I have another brother who he normally lives in Austin, but he's moved here because he's being treated at MD Anderson. He has leukemia. And we're just hoping that he makes it through and, just hoping that he's okay. And just so everyone knows, we're going to have a blood drive organized soon. So I hope everyone comes out for that.
That's wonderful.
Anything else you want to tell the ladies and gentlemen at home? Because I know we want to get into some of the current event topics, but do you have anything else you want to let the voters know about you?
Just that I am here for you. I am so invigorated and ready for the change that Harris County is about to undergo. And I know that y'all are as excited as I am. And so I can't wait. I look forward to hopefully serving you. And keep your eyes out for the March primaries and then hopefully 2018. And we need everybody to register to vote today, because you have to register a certain amount of time before you can vote in the elections. And so we need everyone coming out. This is important. It's important that all of you are active in this.
One quick, if we change topic, do you have any ideas about what you wanted to do to bring to the bench? I know you said you wrote a lot of stuff down, but perhaps now, if you can remember the items you wanted to talk about.
Well,
Because there are
want
lawyers
to-
watching.
Right.
I want to focus on mental health, obviously substance abuse issues, and we need to figure out a way to make dockets more sensible. We've all talked about this before, having to have our clients show up every month, wait around 2 hours to, depending on what happens, potentially just get a reset. That doesn't need to be that way. So
Are you talking about waiving appearances
yes,
or limiting the number of appearances?
correct.
What are your thoughts on bond conditions?
Bond conditions? Well, obviously we need to have bond conditions there, but this is, something that all the judges need to get together and talk about. I mean, we have clients who are found to be indigent that are required to have expensive devices that they can't necessarily afford, but they're required to, and they can't afford them, so they don't get them, and then they're back in jail because they can't meet that bond condition, and then potentially they feel forced to plea because it's a monetary issue. I see it every day. Monetary issues kind of determine what happens in the criminal justice system.
Some argue that pretrial bond conditions are equivalent to being presumed guilty and put on probation while you're waiting for trial.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, understandably, you have to have a balance between protecting, people that may be out there if it's a, intoxication offense. But also at the same time, there is the presumption of innocence. And so I want to get together, get defense attorneys together, prosecutors together, district attorney's office needs to be involved. Everybody needs to be working together. And that I don't know that that's necessarily happening right now, because we need to not make people feel that in order to just get something over with, even though they're presumed innocent, because of their socioeconomic status or their monetary restrictions.
If elected, how are you going to run your docket?
I haven't obviously fully decided that yet, especially now with we're supposedly going to be out of the criminal justice center for 2 years.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if elected in 2018, it's different than what it may have been when I first decided I was going to run.
No question.
So that's not entirely worked out yet.
Yeah.
There's obvious restrictions in that respect.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we appreciate you putting your platform out there, and like I said earlier, we're going to try and get as many candidates on. We don't take a side here on reasonable doubt, ladies and gentlemen. We're just here to try and put as many candidates on from both parties. We are not for one party or the other. We're not for one candidate or the other. Our goal here is to educate you about the candidates, let you hear what their positions are, what their platforms are, and hopefully give you at least a brief insight to what all they're about, kind of a little glimpse into their personality, so that when you go to the voter's box, you know a little something about the person you're voting for. And as Abigail said, I mean, I think her words are correct. Whatever you do, whatever party you support, get out, register, and vote. Because it's really, in my opinion, it's hard for people to complain if they don't get up and do something about it. If you're not a participant, I think it's kind of hypocritical for you to sit there and complain if you don't participate in the process. So to that end, we appreciate Abigail being the first guinea pig on the show, so to speak.
She nailed it.
To come on here. And we'll open up the phone lines in about 5 to 10 minutes. So if you've got a question for Abigail or us, 713-807-1794 is the number. We'll start taking calls in about 5 minutes or so, open up the lines. So get your phones ready, and still got Twitter up at HCCLA_TV. All right, fun times now. Fun times with the current events. Let's talk about this prosecutor up in Dallas. What the heck is her problem?
What's going on with Dallas in general? I think about 2 weeks ago, there was the prosecutor who ran into a tree and said, "Hey, we're Facebook friends. Don't arrest me."
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
What's going on with Dallas?
Well, did you see what happened in Austin? Our alma mater?
No.
Student got arrested for DWI, and she's like, "You can't arrest me. I'm a UT student."
That's a defense.
The whole Weird Texas
New one.
thing is taking a little too far here. Yeah, so that wasn't good. But yeah, something's going on in the water up in Dallas. So one of the assistant district attorneys up there, she was out drinking, Ubering home.
Responsible.
That is responsible.
So she did the responsible
She
thing.
did the first part. Right?
But she quickly made a wrong turn into the land of unresponsible or irresponsible, and decided to accuse the Uber driver of kidnapping her, of all things. And I think we have the audio here. I want to play the audio if we can. So roll the audio, guys, and let's hear what she said. We got it queued up?
You know,
Nope, we don't have it queued up.
Stand by.
They weren't ready.
It's a standby.
We're getting it. We're getting it.
but we don't know all the facts, though.
But
Yeah,
we have a
let's-
recording.
Well,
Is
let's
she
give
suffering from a mental
Give a
illness?
basic setup of it, JV.
I mean, I think she had
We don't know the facts.
she had some alcohol.
What a joke.
Here, we got it
Jesus
rolling.
Christ, I'll make sure Uber knows what a joke you are.
There might be a lot of beeping, ladies and gentlemen.
Literally dropped me off at my house. Like, we paid you to do.
Ma'am, I ended the ride and I asked you politely to step out of
No,
my
you
vehicle.
ended the ride not at my house. You think I'm gonna get out on a side street? The no.
Ma'am, please exit.
Shut the up. We'll wait for the cops then. If that's what you think is appropriate. You don't just end a ride. Shut up, dude. I'll wait. Just take me. Oh my God, you're an idiot. You are a legitimate retard. What a joke. And I want to go home so badly, but you're so stupid. I want the cops to come so that they can you up.
Oh
That's
my
what I want.
gosh.
Like, you're such an idiot. I want the cops to come.
Ma'am, please.
No, man, please. Dude, everything's being recorded. I'm an assistant district attorney, so shut the up.
Dang.
Official
You had the
question there.
opportunity to take me home. I think this might be kidnapping right now, actually.
It's not kidnapping, ma'am.
No,
You're free
it is
to leave.
because there was an Uber. I'm pretty sure at a destination, and you have not taken me to that destination. You're holding me here. So why don't you take me to that destination?
Ma'am, please leave my vehicle.
Why don't you take me to that destination?
Ma'am, exit my vehicle, please.
So you're kidnapping me.
I'm not kidnapping
Do
you.
you know where when you picked me up, I gave you a destination, you're not taking me there. So under the law, it's recklessly keeping me from where I was going, and you haven't done that. So you're kidnapping me right now. You're committing a third.
That's just okay. So let's set aside a second from her, because the Uber driver himself, he sounds like the taxi driver from Total Recall.
He does. I was thinking robot.
And I'm not talking about the remake of Total Recall. I'm talking
No,
about
the original. Yeah,
Total
yeah,
Recall.
and
Yeah, not the
he
Colin
rips
Farrell one.
He
I'm
rips
talking
the
about
thing
Arnold
out.
Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
But he sounds like the taxi driver from that.
He does.
Just sounds like a robot. But I hate to pile on the guy who was accused of kidnapping and called all sorts of names. But okay, so she makes the allegation he's kidnapped her. Not a very viable case there. Don't think that one's getting past intake.
Dropping her name as a DA was fatal flaw for that woman.
No kidding.
You can't do that.
I mean, she just stopped short of
Well, that
flashing
cost
her
her
DA
her
badge.
job. And that cost her her job. And
Yeah,
likely-
she was fired.
She doesn't know the elements of kidnapping. So that's a problem.
Pre-show, we discussed her lack of knowledge on the elements of certain crimes in the state of Texas.
Well,
That's
she
true.
may have lacked the use of her physical and mental capacities at the time she was.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm
I don't
saying.
see how she didn't get arrested for PI when
Yeah,
she
I
got out of
agree.
the car.
No kidding.
Who took her home? How'd she get home? Where was
Well,
I
she
don't,
was home.
We don't know that.
She was a block
from
away.
it.
But the cops did come out.
So, I mean, theoretically, she should have just walked home.
PI.
Huh?
PI.
You think?
Eh.
She's an ADA. You think the cops going to arrest her for PI?
Okay,
He's just going to diffuse the situation.
Let me pose this. No audio. Allegation comes out tomorrow. What happens?
He's arrested for kidnapping.
Oh my God.
That's
Yeah.
the answer.
That's the.
I agree.
I agree. I agree.
I completely agree that if there wasn't that audio and it's her word against his,
She
just
wins
like what
every
he
time.
said. I mean, that's what the Uber driver, who are you going to believe? The driver said that. I mean, who are you going to believe in that situation? If she makes the accusation and we don't have this tape, they're going to arrest him.
She said everything's being recorded. Was that recording from her or the Uber driver?
The Uber driver,
It was
It was the Uber driver.
Yeah.
So,
because she said no one's gonna believe you, so he recorded everything.
Oh, I thought she said it. I thought she
They can't
said
hear what they
everything's
just
being
said.
recorded.
They can't hear what he said.
Oh.
Our producer just let us know, ladies and gentlemen, that she's the one who actually threatened him with the nobody will believe what you say. So that's when he turned on the recorder.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's pretty keen.
Is it official oppression?
That's what I was about to say. I think there's an actual charge for oppression there, potentially. I don't know.
Is there PC? That's the type of things you're going to have to be answering. That's tough.
They may send that. We've been joking about this case, but that district attorney could send that into a grand jury.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think there's.
She could, which is why if I was her lawyer, I would have never given this sad.
Woe is me press conference on
Correct.
on the courthouse steps.
They've got a 3-year statute on that to send that in.
She admitted to other than hitting him, right? She says, I never slapped him or hit him on the shoulder or something.
It's on audio, so.
PC.
Well, but and so, I mean, this begs the question we've seen recently here. I mean, there was the judge just recently in that other county who
Fort Bend?
who tried to.
I'm a judge. Or?
Yeah, and use his position of power to get out of him. I mean, this kind of stuff goes on all the time. We've seen it before. What was it? A year or two ago, there was a judge in the Valley. Same thing. Got pulled over. Oh, please don't do this to me. You know who I am, kind of thing.
The DA did it in Austin when she got her blood drawn.
Yep.
Rick Perry, can't y'all just let me get on down the road? Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was the good one.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that one.
So, I mean, it happens more often. And I'm not saying it happens more often than it ever did. It's been going on. I mean, people who get in a position of power.
Black robe
Watch out for that.
syndrome.
If you are,
I understand that they have internet now, so.
Yeah, I mean, the advent of cell phones, cell phone cameras, recordings, this stuff just gets publicized more often. People trying to use their position of power as a means to get out of trouble. And this is just one more example of it.
They serve the people, and they are not entitled to that position. The people have have elected them to that position, and they serve the people.
One of the most troubling things with her attitude I've found is that what type of negotiations has she had as a district attorney? Was she punitive to minorities or other people? I mean, it seems like I might want, if I had a case with her, go back and review it.
You might.
She said, I got lots of Uber driver friends. I got lots of Uber driver friends, all like stumbling and such. I mean, we can hear the undertones of her voice when she's saying those things. She's being condescending, rude, or just out of her mental and or physical faculties. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, are they realistically going to do something against her? Probably not. I mean, I don't know that this Uber driver really wants to press charges. There's no indication of that. I mean, if I were him, maybe it's just me, but I just want this thing to go away. Like, I wasn't asking for attention on this thing. Just let me go back to my normal life. I don't want to be a witness in this thing. I don't want to have a part of it. And I think they would. I mean, I guess they could use the standalone audio itself to prosecute her, but
they'll subpoena him in.
Yeah.
We know the players.
Yeah, but I mean, if he doesn't want to come, are they really going to press hard on somebody who may not want to come and testify?
I think it goes away, and I think the firing was the hardest thing that happens to her, and now she has to become a criminal defense lawyer or go work at a civil firm. I mean, that's really what's up.
She's going to get a job at a civil firm.
I don't.
She's getting a job.
I don't know about that, man. I mean, now this thing is all over. I mean, it's viral on the internet. There's not a major firm that would touch her with a 10-foot pole. I mean, there might be a small firm or something like that she knows or went to law school with one of the partners or something like that would give her a chance. But
that knows that she likes all Uber drivers.
Yeah.
They know that.
I had friends from all across the country and even people in different parts of the world text me and ask me about this because I guess they assume I live in Dallas since, Texas. It's all
Maybe
the
she'll
same place.
Should become an Uber driver.
What's going on with Dallas?
I don't know.
Was it the same thing? And then two weeks earlier, we got the one hitting the tree. And then a year earlier, wasn't that the one where the DA just disappeared for like 6 months?
Yeah.
Everybody was trying to figure out where she was. Right?
Yeah.
They're prosecuting.
Well, that was a legitimate mental health issue too.
Fair. I apologize.
Yeah.
That's
This was
true.
just,
That's true.
Thursday night drunkenness. So
How long was she there? Do you know?
I don't, but we have a phone call. Let's hop over the phone lines and take the first call for the night. Hello. Thanks for calling Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, did that Uber driver have the right to, forcefully remove her from his car? Do any Uber drivers have that if someone gets belligerent and disrespectful like that?
Great question. Thanks for the call. Legal scholars over here.
JV's got it.
I was going to defer.
Oh, you want me to? No, he can't.
From my understanding, no, they cannot touch a passenger whatsoever. And so even if she's physically assaulting him, which I don't know happened in this case or not, he cannot forcefully remove her from the car. And as we were saying, let's say he did,
He would catch an assault case.
Yeah, he would. He
Assault against
absolutely
a peace officer? 2 to 10?
Well, now that he has knowledge that she worked at the district attorney's office, it would be a heightened charge.
would. Yeah.
Calling the police was the best remedy to cover himself, I believe.
Yeah, I might have just turned off the car and gotten out if I were him, and just walked
That-
away.
Then
That's
no
a-
recording at that point, though.
Well, but I mean,
True.
but if you get out of the car and just walk away from the situation, and then she gets out bumbling, stumbling drunk, you run back in and drive away.
No, this is what happens.
but everyone knows who your Uber driver was.
Yeah,
They
no
can
kidding.
track it.
And
So
the doors are open and she's passed out in the back. Cops arrive.
Yeah.
No way.
You call 911 and you
Yeah.
record it. He did it right,
Wait.
in my humble opinion.
No, he absolutely did. Let's talk about somebody not doing things right, and that would be our sheriff out in Fort Bend County.
Switching topics.
Yeah, switching topics. So, can we put the picture up on the screen of the infamous truck out in Fort Bend County? Do we have that ready to go? Let's get it loaded up. There it is. So
This has taken Facebook by storm.
it has. So this driver, and it should be noted that before we went on air, I did a little quick search, and the driver was arrested at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So not for that sticker though. It turned out to be a she, although she also said it was her husband's truck, and that she just drove it from time to time. But she apparently had open warrants. But the big story here is that the sheriff, once this was posted and went around on Facebook, the sheriff himself, Troy Nehls, is that how you say his name?
I'm not sure. We were trying to figure that
I
out.
think it's Troy Nehls. It's Nehls. So
Nehls.
I'm going to go
Not
with Nehls.
fair saying.
I mean, look, people butcher my last name. It's Nehls.
Ardouin?
Yeah.
They definitely butchered
Pardon?
mine.
I had a high school coach call me Aardvark one time.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I get called Anastasia.
I get called Joe.
It happens.
I'm good. If anybody wants to know, I'm good. But anyways,
But so the sheriff, the Fort Bend County sheriff, Sheriff Nehls, gets on, and he says that this is a disorderly conduct, and I've already contacted the district attorney himself, John Healy, and he's ready to accept charges for disorderly conduct. Of course, DA Healy gets on and quickly disavows any notion that he and Nehls have had this conversation. But this is not disorderly conduct, in my opinion. Does it even come close to that for y'all?
What is disorderly conduct? Doesn't it have to incite an immediate?
Well, I don't know.
Something.
Just look at the Facebook post because he put the statute there for everyone to see. And then was quickly schooled by attorneys over and over and over again.
It's the classic. No, that's not what that means.
what you have is free speech that's offensive to some Republicans, let's just call it, and enough that it aggravated this high sheriff. And if he does arrest that human being for that particular alleged First Amendment violation, he will be sued in federal court.
Yes, he will.
Have you all seen the life-size hologram of him in the Fort Bend County Courthouse?
No.
I have, yes.
There's a hologram?
And it follows you. All three of us could walk in, and his eyes are on each and every one of you, and follows you through the lobby, foyer, metal detectors, and behind.
If you could imagine a cutout of a human, it's a cutout of his
It's an
body.
entire body?
Correct.
Head to
in
toe.
uniform.
It's about
But
5'10".
That's like a Disney.
his
what was
eyes
that-
move.
What's the haunted house in Disney called?
Wait, so wait. I'm on.
Yes.
This is in the
Time out
law.
here. Time out. Is it a hologram or is it a cutout?
It's a cutout.
Okay,
a
so it's not a hologram.
But-
You had me believing it's like Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars.
It's a
talking to Darth-
holographic.
It's a holographic
you know?
cutout.
Huh?
Holographic cutout.
Okay, but it's like the
3D.
people-
It's live. It moves.
It's like what?
It moves.
It's a cutout of his body, but the eyes move.
and subtle motions as such.
It's true.
That's just weird.
We'll have to bring it on the show.
I'm gonna take a video of
To
it.
take, yeah.
I'm gonna take a
really
video of it and
bizarre.
play it.
Too,
If
right.
you've seen
I
it, you
wanna
should
see
call
this
in.
thing.
It's amazing, and all paid for by the Fort Bend County taxpayers.
How much?
I think it was $3,000 is what one of the bailiffs
What?
said in
What?
there.
3 grand?
Yeah, 3 or 5.
And this guy's
Either
running
way.
This guy's running for Congress now.
Well, that's the backstory
Yeah.
behind the story.
His eyes are on you.
So he's a Republican running for Congress.
Was he running for Congress
Well,
of the U.S. Congress?
I believe so. Let's see.
You Google
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
if you Google Fort Bend County Sheriff cutout hologram, he stares at you. It pops up, and then he looks at you everywhere you go.
Okay, so as of March 1st of this year, he's contemplating.
United States Congress?
That's it, the
United States
contemplation phase.
Yeah, not Texas State Congress. No. United States Congress.
Or he might want to speak to somebody about the most important amendment in the Bill of Rights.
Look, knowing the Bill of Rights and knowing the Constitution is clearly not a prerequisite to getting into our nation's capital as a congressman or a senator.
Touche.
So,
Touche.
I mean, if you've watched some of this stuff going on with the Sessions hearing and everything else, these guys don't know anything about.
I don't
the Bill of
recall.
Rights.
I don't recall. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
How embarrassing
recall.
is that if you are a current assistant United States attorney? Seriously.
It's horrible. It's embarrassing.
And your boss is getting up there testifying to Congress and saying, I don't know, I don't recall, I don't remember, on stuff that he just testified to a year ago.
It's going too fast. This is going too fast.
Yeah.
It's going too fast. That's what he says.
It's
Pretty good. That's
politics.
almost a very good Christopher Walken impression. You got real close on that.
More cowbell.
It's going too fast. Am I trying too hard now? This is going too
Now you're
fast.
trying too hard. See, you came
That's
natural.
fair.
Now you're trying too hard on it. No, it says he wants to run for the seat held by Pete Olson. So, there you
Who
go.
was
There's your backstory.
the sheriff before him?
That was Milton Wright.
And he was there forever, wasn't he?
He was. He's an old school sheriff.
You gonna what did they used to call the jail?
Milton's Hotel.
Milton's Hotel. That's where you went when you got arrested.
So, they spent $3,000 on this moving cutout of him.
That's what I heard. Somewhere between 3 and 5.
It's really weird. And you always look at it to make sure the eyes move, and they always move.
Seriously.
What if the eyes are like cameras?
I think it might.
Hey,
You haven't been in Fort
don't
Bend
know.
County in a minute?
making sure that
It's right in the lobby.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't notice that.
It's
I
standing
was there
right
a few
there,
months
man.
ago, but I didn't.
where is it in the courthouse specifically so we can
In
all be on
the
alert?
lobby.
Or
When you walk
foyer
in.
is-
I haven't
as-
seen it
foyer.
though.
The foyer, as Joey or was it?
You see what I deal with? You see what I deal with? Dude, and we could all walk in at the same time, and the eyes are on all of you.
I look at it each time, and as soon as I get at one point, they move. It just happens
It's
each
cameras.
time.
Cameras, and they're training on you, man.
Well, I just want to know what citizen called in the offensive display. I mean, he said it was multiple people. So multiple
That
people
aggravates
think that you
Republicans.
can call in a bumper sticker, which it's a large one, but I'm just curious.
It's vulgar. It's vulgar.
What about truck nuts?
Well, some people like the truck.
I mean, seriously. I mean, if you're
That's
gonna say-
offensive.
Yeah, it is.
Straight up.
It is. It is.
Rubber ones, metal ones, it's offensive. Truck nuts. Who thought of that?
I don't know, but I mean, certainly somebody could have some of.
Somebody's sipping a margarita somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, yeah.
That is
of
offensive.
course.
yeah. Grabbed by the truck nuts. I mean, you know, come on.
What?
Somebody's drinking a margarita right now laughing that
Some people are laughing and some people are saying, oh, that's offensive. You know, but that's the society we're in. I mean, we are, there is no middle ground right now. It is either you don't find it offensive or you are just so offended by it that you're going to go on a Twitter or Facebook rant. There's just no like, oh, hey, okay, like whatever.
I'm hurt that you're saying that. I'm very hurt that you're saying that.
I know. I know.
First Amendment or not? What do you say, Abigail?
It's not a violation.
Would yeah, I agree. I think that was a softball. That's what we call softball.
Softball. That was like a beach ball, man.
It wasn't beach ball.
Well, it is a violation. I'm sorry if that person were to be prosecuted for that offense. That's what I meant to say.
Agreed, understood.
Well, and that's what the high sheriff intimated, well, said, erroneously apparently, that he had contacted the district attorney's office and they're looking to arrest a person who's exercising free speech.
Yeah. I mean,
Can you imagine the top cop, other than DA office, but top cop, sheriff,
In the whole county.
in the whole county, putting you up on social media for the entire globe to see and calling you out?
And we'd have to go check, but this is a county in Texas. When this went viral, people all over the country are commenting on this. It's being shared repeatedly. It's kind of amazing to me that it got so far.
well, but I also think, I mean, look, this election has, from last year, the presidential election, has clearly had a polarizing effect. What was it, the woman up in Virginia who was they got a picture of her telling Trump he's number one as she went by the motorcade?
You mean the number one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
She lost her job too.
yeah, she did.
Yeah, she's lost her job. Did you hear about that one?
I thought that
But-
there was
but-
a lot of job creation going on.
Well, but see,
Apparently there's a lot of job loss going on as well.
but see,
Yeah.
a lot of people still don't understand the fact that you don't have free speech rights in your place of employment. So you can exercise free speech all you want. It doesn't entitle you to a job. And a lot of people in this country just don't seem to get that fact. Along with people not being able to interpret the law of disorderly conduct, we have people who just think that, you know, their employer can't infringe on their free speech rights, and that's just never been the law. But
When you signed, I think
I don't
didn't Jerry Jones say it? I own the stadium and the team, and
yeah,
y'all are just on the stage.
that's right.
Something like that.
And now he's trying to just take down Goodell and the entire NFL. Man, something's going on in Dallas. You're right. I
What's going on with Dallas?
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No, I agree. So what else we got on the show? What's going on?
Well,
Time we got?
I mean, we got plenty of time. We can get into this Roy Moore thing. You want to get into Roy Moore?
How? Okay.
There's tons to talk about there. Where do you want to begin with him? Because I got lots of stuff to talk about him and his goofy lawyer that he hired.
Court of public opinion, court of law. How they differ. He got allegations all over the place.
From years ago.
Years ago.
40 to be exact, roughly.
Yeah. 40 years ago. And I mean, look, from a moral standpoint, obviously, and I think it's, you know, how do we prove this? It's he said, she said at this point.
If it's not barred by a statute of limitation.
Right.
Right.
And so, there's no criminal action that could be filed. There's no civil action that could be filed. So this is just somebody, and look, I'm not trying to defend Roy Moore in any way, because if he did it, that's just it's one of the, you know, worst things you could possibly do. But it's somebody who's making an allegation about something 40 years ago, clearly, in my opinion, to going after somebody who is in the news and in the media, and I'm not saying that they're seeking attention. I'm not saying that by any means.
It sought attention.
Well, and they may very well be, but the pattern that we have going on here, whether it's Roy Moore, whether it's Harvey Weinstein, whether it's Anthony Weiner, it is
Bill Cosby.
It is now. I mean, where you don't see a lot of this going on, just in regular everyday.
Well, at least people are paying attention now.
Yeah, no, it's true. But remember, for a while there was there seemed to be a lot of sexual harassment in the workplace lawsuits that were being publicized, okay? And that there was a lot of that going on. Now, you don't hear about that as much because I think workplaces have implemented, policies and checks to prevent that sort of thing. And when it happens, or if it happens, they squash it right away and get those people out of here. But now what you're seeing is just a cannibalism, so to speak, on the rich, elite, and powerful, and it's happening. The ironic thing is here, it's not just limited to Republicans, it's Democrats too.
Well,
and both sides are going after one another.
I think that now, there's one perspective that women now feel free to speak, that they are not going to be shamed or judged for speaking out about how they've been violated, which I don't know any woman who has not been made to feel uncomfortable at some point or more or worse. And now, maybe they're not going to get any legal, what would you say?
Recourse remedy.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know the evidence, but I know that women now feel freer to talk about these things and feel like people are going to listen to them and not just sweep it under the rug.
Let's hop on the phone real quick. We got a call coming in. Hello, thanks for calling Reasonable Doubt.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. My question's for the candidate that you have on tonight. She mentioned earlier that she's been a prosecutor and also worked as a defense attorney. And as a human being who's in and out of the criminal courts a lot in Harris County, I was just wondering, what does she see or what has she seen that concerns her, troubles her most about criminal justice in Harris County? What is maybe one or two things that she finds the most troublesome about getting justice when we know that there are criminal justice problems across the nation? Is there something in Harris County specifically that she would refer to? And I'll take the answer off air. Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, we've talked a lot about bonds. And I know that the bond in the district courts was recently modified. Some of the bond amounts went up depending on the type of offense. Some of them went down. But I know for myself, from representing indigent clients, there's no possible way that they can ever make those bonds. And, especially right now, it's troubling to me to know that I understand we had a disaster, but some people, who knows, it's unforeseeable when they're going to have a trial, and they're not able to make bond either. So that concerns me.
Contiguous with the federal lawsuit, and even as recent as I think yesterday, one judge decided that she's not going to run for re-election simply because, part and parcel because she's upset with how folks are dealing with the aftermath of the lawsuit. That's the way I read it.
I think post-Harvey practice in Harris County is going to be something that in 20 or 30 years, when we're having this conversation on the next kind of changeover, will be something that defined practice of law in Harris County. We've changed it up. Harvey came in and leveled everything, has changed the way everything is done, the way things are seen, and it's going to be something that we're going to be talking about pre-Harvey, post-Harvey, I think.
I got to be honest with you. I hope I'm not talking about this in 30 years. I'm hoping I'm retired somewhere.
Well, fair.
Quickly, before we get out of here, because we have a couple minutes left, but you said something before we took the phone call about how women feel more empowered to speak out now with what we're seeing with Roy Moore, with what we saw with Al Franken today, who was a vocal critic of Roy Moore, and then he gets it shoved back in his face.
Sure did.
But you're seeing this, the Harvey Weinstein issue. God, who would have thought that a Hollywood producer would have done that? I'm shocked. But it's not just women, it's men.
Oh yes, Kevin Spacey.
Yes, and Terry Crews. What was that all about?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but Terry Crews is like, what?
It almost makes it like you shouldn't run for public office because you don't want an allegation coming out.
I know, right?
You.
Skeletons come out.
Well, and so now you're seeing. Look at Corey Haim. He's coming out. So it's not just women.
No, and
It's
I didn't
men.
mean to. We were talking specifically about women for Roy Moore's case.
No, I agree. But that's the interesting dynamic here is that everybody's been focusing on the women that are coming out and more empowered to speak. But the interesting thing is the men who are coming out and talking about allegations of being abused as children in Hollywood or having other male actors, make advances against them or something like that.
U.S. Olympians and
Right.
doctors.
Yes.
Who were treating them. It's amazing. It really is.
But I guess, at this point, they're so old. These allegations, a lot of them are old. I mean, some of them obviously are still within the statute of limitations to be either prosecuted or brought under some civil justice. But you gotta wonder, like, what's the deal with bringing up 40-year-old allegations?
Politics.
Yeah.
That's the answer for me. Seems like the short answer.
Well, and they're saying that the Washington Post is the one who really went and found these women.
Who owns the Washington Post? Doesn't Amazon?
Yeah, Jeff Bezos.
Well, and of course, Breitbart, sideways with Donald Trump, and so there's infighting with those folks. And if it's true, then if in fact it could be prosecuted, it should be. Obviously, we wouldn't want anything like that, but that would be statute barred in Texas. It's just how it is.
We are out of time.
It went quickly.
It did.
It moved really quickly, but I want to thank our guest, Todd Dupont, and of course, Abigail Anastasio. We thank you for being the guinea pig candidate on our show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed myself as usual.
Absolutely. And as I said, we hope to get more candidates on. So if you are a candidate and you're watching our show tonight, please reach out to us or give us a call back. Let us know if you are available and would love to come on the show. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. We're here, and we'd love to have you on and talk to you about your platform and where you're going, what you're planning on doing if you hit the bench. So we will be back in 2 weeks because next week is Thanksgiving. So we'll be off next week, ladies and gentlemen, enjoying turkey with our families like I hope you are. So for my co-host, Julio Vela, and my guest, we will see you in a couple weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.